Hello. Welcome to Gold Disc's Introduction to Professional Page Desktop Publishing. In the course of this tape, we'll provide you with a basic introduction to some of the features of Professional Page and talk about the ways that desktop publishing can help you organize text and graphics into professional documents. Desktop publishing has become very popular for creating everything from newsletters and business reports to brochures, books, and magazines. And Professional Page gives you all of the power of desktop publishing in a simple and involving format. On this tape, we'll be showing you some of the basics involved in desktop publishing, using Professional Page to produce a clean, professional-looking presentation. Feel free to follow along with your Amiga, pausing the tape as you wish. For your convenience, we've titled each section on the tape for easy access. The titled sections allow you to find a specific section on the tape quickly by previewing the tape in fast play or reverse. The first thing we should do is define desktop publishing. In its simplest form, desktop publishing is using the computer to help format the way that text and graphics appear on a printed page. This can be as straightforward as creating a single-page memo that is nicely spaced. At the other end of the spectrum, desktop publishing can be as complicated as producing entire magazines, books, or 100-page reports with a variety of different graphics, diagrams, formats, and type styles. Simple to complex, all documents and publications start with a blank page, and that's where we'll begin. Before you begin creating pages in Professional Page, there are a few things you have to do at the beginning. Let's start with a brief tour of the Professional Page screen. Along the right edge of the screen, you'll see the various tools available. We'll describe each of these tools in detail as we use them, and you can always check your Professional Page manual for more explanations. When you press and hold down the right mouse button, you'll see the titles of the menus at the top of the screen. As you move the pointer to the titles, you'll see the various menus drop down. For now, let's bring down the second menu, the Page menu. The Page menu gives you various options. Here you pick actions relating to creating new pages, loading, saving, altering, creating templates, and making the page invisible. As you move the pointer down the list of menu items, you'll see the sub-menus appear to the right of the list, indicating that there are other options associated with the different menu items. To start, we want to create a new page, so let's move the pointer to the Create item. The sub-menu appears, letting us choose between starting a page based on a template or a default setting. Let's choose the default setting just to get started. As soon as we tell Professional Page that we want to create a new page, the New Page Format requester appears. Here we can adjust a number of settings: page sizes, margins, columns, etc. For now, we'll just use the default settings by clicking on the OK box at the lower left. You'll now see a blank page on the screen with ruler markings running along the left side and along the top. In order to fit everything on the computer screen, this blank page is 1/3 the size of the real printed page. You can also create a new page by using keyboard shortcuts. Pressing the Control and N keys simultaneously will bring up the New Page Format requester again, just as if you had used the pull-down menu item with the mouse. If we click on the OK box again, we now have two pages in memory, even though there is nothing in either of them yet. Shortcut keys exist for many Professional Page functions. Consult your quick reference card. Now that we've created a few blank pages, the first tool at the top of the Tools column shows the current page number. By clicking on the up or down arrows here, you can move forward or backward through the pages. One of the most important concepts in Professional Page is the box. A box can contain text or graphics. Boxes can be linked or isolated. Everything that you create or put on a page goes into a box. So let's create a few and see how they work. Just below the Page Indicator tool is the Create Box tool. To create a new box, just point to this tool and click the left mouse button. Now, move the pointer to the work area, click and hold down the left mouse button and drag the pointer down and to the right. You will see a box outline appear as you drag the pointer. When the box is the size that you want, just let go of the mouse button and you have a new box. Don't worry about the positioning or size for the moment. We'll adjust them later. As soon as you create a box, you'll see that it has 8 handles, one in each corner of the box and one on each side. These handles are used to resize the box. You'll also notice that the box has a dark outline around it. The handles and box outlines are only to help you work on the screen. They won't be printed on the final page. When you're finished creating boxes, click on the Null Pointer tool. This tool will always take you out of whatever mode you are currently in. Now that we've created a box on the page, we can move it where we want. Move the pointer anywhere inside the box, and then click and hold down the left mouse button. The pointer will change into a hand, indicating that the box is ready to be moved. All we have to do is drag the box to the new position, and then let go of the mouse button. While dragging the box on the page, the coordinates of the upper left corner of the box will appear at the left of the menu strip. If we want to change the shape of the box, we just point at one of the handles, click, and hold down the left mouse button, and then drag the handle until the box is the proper size and shape. Then release the mouse button. While sizing this box this way, the dimensions of the box appear at the left of the menu strip. Let's create a few more boxes next to the first one. We click on the Create Box tool, then Open New Boxes. You can continue to create as many boxes as you like without going back to the tools. As soon as you create a second box, you'll see that the outline around the first box is no longer bold. The active box is always the last box you create until you specify a different box as active. To change which is the active box, exit the Create Box mode by clicking on the null pointer, point to the box, and click the left mouse button. If you ever have any questions about which is the active box, you can select the Show Active menu item or use the Amiga A key shortcut. The outline of the active box will flash. If you wish to delete a box, just make it the active box and then select Delete Active from the box menu. You can also use the Shift-Delete keyboard shortcut. If you wish to get a better look at the page you're working on, you can enlarge the image on the computer screen by changing the magnification level in the Preferences menu. You can also use keyboard shortcuts. Selecting different magnifications allows you to preview, edit, format, and otherwise modify your pages more effectively. When you choose 100% or 200% magnification, you won't be able to see the entire page on the screen at one time. But you can move your view to show any part of the page by dragging the white box in the Page Position tool. We've now created and modified boxes, magnified our view, and learned to move our view. Before we go on to the next section, it might be a good idea to save our work. To save a document to disk, you select one of the 2 Save options from the project menu. Since we don't have a name for our document yet, we would select the Save As option. We will then see the file name requester appear, and we can then give our document a title. Once a document has been saved with a title, we can just select the Save option, and any changes that we have made since the last save will be saved to disk, overwriting the previous copy. Remember that Save As lets you rename documents, and Save will replace the old copy on disk with the newest version. If you aren't sure that you want to keep the latest changes, it might be a good idea to use Save As and give your changed version a different name. That way you can always load in the old version and start over. Whenever you deal with computers and information, it's always a good idea to save your work often. You never know when the power might go out, and you might lose what's in the memory. With Professional Page, you have the option of creating text directly or importing it from word-processed files. When all you need are a few extra words on a page, like titles, captions, and minor changes, it can be faster to use the built-in text processing features of Professional Page. All you have to do is click on the Text tool and then click in a box where you want to enter your text. The box can be on a page or on the artboard. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is that text and graphics are treated differently. You can't have text and graphics in the same box. Once you've selected the Text tool and clicked on an empty box, you'll see a cursor indicating where the text will appear. To enter text at that point, just start typing on the keyboard. The built-in text processing capabilities of Professional Page give you many of the features you will find in word processors. Not only can you enter text directly with the keyboard and then use the backspace and delete keys to erase letters, you can also manipulate blocks of text. Before you can perform any of the block manipulations, you must first designate which letters, words, or even boxes of text will be included in the block. To block text, simply point to the beginning of the text you want highlighted, press and hold down the left mouse button, drag the pointer to the end of the block of text, and release the button. There are several additional methods for selecting a block of text, so see your manual for more details. When you're finished with a particular block of text, you can unhighlight it by selecting an unmark from the Edit menu, or by clicking elsewhere on the page. Once you have a block of text highlighted, there are a number of word processing style commands you can perform. These commands are found on the Edit menu. We'll run through them quickly. 3 commands that work together are cut, copy, and paste. All 3 of these commands work with something called the paste buffer. Anytime you cut or copy a highlighted block of text, it's stored in the paste buffer. If there was text in there already, it's thrown away and replaced by the new text. To cut and move text around, block it with the Text tool until the words you want are highlighted. Then, select the Cut item from the Edit menu. The text is then cut and placed out of sight in the paste buffer. Move the Text tool to where you want to insert or paste the text. Click the left mouse button to make an insertion point. Then, select Paste from the Edit menu. To copy text is exactly the same procedure, except you select Copy from the Edit menu instead of Cut. Remember, each cut or copy replaces the previous one in the paste buffer. Another operation that is similar to cut is delete. Simply block the text to be deleted and press the Delete key. You can also block text, and it'll automatically be deleted if you begin typing text to replace it. And selecting Paste from the Edit menu will cause any highlighted text to be replaced with whatever is in the paste buffer. If you accidentally delete the wrong text, simply place the cursor where it should go and press the Escape key. This only works for the last block deleted. There are other useful functions that you can perform with the built-in text features, such as find and replace for making global changes, and saving blocks of text for use in word processors. See the manual for details. While the built-in text features of Professional Page give you many ways to create and manipulate text, most of the time you'll want to create your own text with the article editor and then import the results into Professional Page for formatting. The first step when importing text is to tell Professional Page what kind of text we'll be importing. If we already know that the word processor we're using is supported by Professional Page, we can go to the Preferences menu and select from one of the word processors listed under the Text Format sub-menu. If the word processor is not currently supported by Professional Page, then we should select the generic option. Next, we go to the Import Text command in the Project menu. We'll then see the Import Requester, where we'll select the file that we want to import. There are a few sample files on your Professional Page disks that you can experiment with if you like. As soon as you have specified a valid file and clicked on the OK box, the text is brought into Professional Page and stored in the paste buffer, ready to be inserted. Importing text into Professional Page is a fast and simple process, but the real power of the word processing Professional Page combination is in pre-formatting your documents before you import them and sending blocks of text to the included word processor for modifications and spell checking. For more information about these features, consult your Professional Page manual. In this section, we learned how to use the built-in text features to create text. We also covered how to highlight blocks of text and then manipulate those blocks using the cut, copy, and paste commands. We also touched on ways to import text into Professional Page from other word processors. Whether you've created text with the built-in text features of Professional Page or have imported text from a word processor, you want to manipulate that text. The best way to illustrate some of the text manipulation tools available in Professional Page is to use a real-world example, a newsletter. As many ways as there are to put words on paper, there are ways to create a page layout using Professional Page. You could just create a single box and import all your text into that one box, or you can get a lot more creative. You can follow along with the example in your Professional Page manual, if you like. Let's say that we would like our newsletter to look like this. A simple title at the top, 2 columns of text, and a graphic in the middle. There are a number of ways that we could do this. We could make a series of boxes and then type all the text using the built-in text features of Professional Page, or we could use a word processor and import everything. The most efficient way would be to use a combination of these techniques. Let's start at the top. When we look at the example page, we can see that everything is lined up nice and neat. In the old days, someone would spend hours pasting and repasting text to make sure that everything lined up that way. Professional Page has tools to make this easy. If you select the Layout Tools item in the Preferences menu, you will see this requester. Here you can choose the units of measurement, inches, picas, or centimeters. Once selected, the current unit of measurement will be used in all requesters. You can also set up a grid that you can use to line everything up. This grid won't actually be printed on the page, but it will help you during layout. If you want to see the grid lines, click on the grid button. To specify a particular spacing increment, just click on the X or Y box, delete the current values, and then type in your own. We'll use a grid spacing of 1/2 inch for our newsletter. To speed things up a bit, we'll also activate the Snap to Grid feature. This will create a grid of points on screen that our pointer will automatically snap to when creating or moving boxes, and will eliminate the need for fine positioning. You can also make the ruler visible or not. Turn the box outlines on or off, and decide if you wish the columns on or off. Now that we have set up a grid and told Professional Page that we want everything to snap to that grid, we can create boxes quickly, and Professional Page will ensure that they line up to the nearest grid line. The first thing that we want to create is the headline. Since it's only a few words, we'll use the built-in text features. First, we create a box for our text by clicking on the Box tool and creating a box near the top of the page. Let's start at the upper left corner of the page and open a box until it's 1 inch high and 6 1/2 inches wide. Since the Snap to Grid option is on, the box will automatically lock into place when we're close enough. Once we have the box in position, we activate the text tool, position the cursor, and type the headline we want. You'll notice that the text appears in the box in 12-point times font. This is the default font and point size. We can easily change the font and point size of any text with a few simple clicks. First, highlight the text to be changed. Then go to the Type menu. When you move down to the Typeface option and then select New, you will see a list of all the available typefaces to pick from. For our newsletter headline, let's select CG Triumvirate. You will see the highlighted text change to the new font. Now, we want to make the letters larger. Go back to the Type menu and select the Size option. We then enter 48 point in the requester. We can also use the Style options in the Type menu to change our highlighted text so that it is bold, italic, outlined, underlined, or plain. Since we want our headline centered on the page, we select Center Justification from the Type menu. Let's see what this looks like. You'll notice that the heading is too close to the top of the box. In Professional Page, boxes can have many attributes. Under the Box menu, you can select Alter the Active Box, and you will see this requester. Here, you can adjust various box features, like the margins, the precise position and size of the box, set tabs, and other items. Keep in mind that margin settings for a box are for text or graphics within that box, not the box's position on the page. If we enter a value of 0.250 inches in the margins top box, our title moves down within the box. We can also alter the text by tracking it. Tracking text means adjusting the spacing between letters and words. Headlines can often benefit from subtle or even extreme tracking, which lends a sense of drama or importance to an otherwise plain title. Tracking is achieved by highlighting the text and pressing the right or left arrow keys. Let's try tracking just a little bit by hitting the left arrow key. We're finished with the title bar. Next is the text. There are a number of ways to put the text into our newsletter, but we'll do it in several steps. First, we'll create 2 columns, then create 2 boxes within these columns, and paste our text into the first box. Finally, we'll link the 2 boxes together so the text flows from the first one into the second. By going back to the Page menu and then selecting Alter the Current Page, we are back to the Page Format requester. We want 2 columns of text, so we change the 0 in the columns box to a 2. We can also set the 2 columns apart by 1/2 an inch to give us some room by changing the gutter value. Gutter is a publishing term for the space between columns. Since we want our 2 columns to start below our title, we change the top margin to 2 1/2 inch and the bottom margin to 1 inch. When you go back to the page, you won't see any columns on the screen. To see the columns on the page, we must go back to the Layout Tools requester under the Preferences menu and click on Columns. Outlines and columns will not show up on the final printed page. They're there for formatting convenience. We'll use the columns outline to create boxes in a moment, but first we want to import the text into our paste buffer. We choose the word processor that created the text. We then go to the Project menu and select Import Text to bring up the Import File requester. Our newsletter text file is called newsletter1.txt. We select the file by clicking on it and then click on the OK button. The text is now loaded into the paste buffer. Although we can see two columns on the screen, there are as yet no boxes to pour our text into. Rather than click on the Box Create tool and then drag out two boxes as we did previously, click on the Box Create tool, position the pointer over the first column, hold down the Control key, and click the left mouse button. Notice that Professional Page automatically creates a box to fill the column. To paste our text into the first box, click on the Text tool and then click inside the first box. A cursor will appear at the top left-hand corner of the box. Go to the Edit menu and select Paste, and voila! Our text flows in to fill the box. We can now change the text font, point size, style, or any other attributes from the Type menu. Let's make the text 12-point times, plain, flush justified. We do this by selecting Select All from the Edit menu, which highlights all of our text, and then selecting the various type attributes in the Type menu. Once we have the type size and style set, we can go on to fill the page. At the bottom right corner of the box, you'll see an inverted L. This indicates that more text waits to be pasted. We want the remaining text to continue at the top of the second column. To do this, we link the two columns using the Link Box tool. First, click on the Link tool and move the pointer over the second column. Click the left mouse button. The two boxes are now linked, and the remaining text flows into the second box. Another creative avenue open to you is rotating text on the page for dramatic effect, such as a vertical headline up the side of the page. This can be accomplished easily by rotating the box which contains the text. To do this, hold down the Control key, grab a corner of the box, and move the pointer in a circular motion. When you have achieved the desired rotation, release the pointer. The text will appear rotated. You may even edit rotated text in the normal fashion. Let's do one more thing to the text before we go on to adding graphics. If you look closely at the text, you'll see that there are a number of gaps here and there where words were carried over to the next lines. We can have Professional Page automatically hyphenate some of those words for us. Since the two boxes of text are linked, anything we do to one will be done to the other if we go to the Edit menu and pick the Select All item. All the text in the two boxes will be highlighted. If we had more than one page containing linked boxes, all of the text in those linked boxes would be highlighted, visible or not. Now, go to the Type menu and select Hyphenation. You'll see the text closing up as Professional Page hyphenates the appropriate words. In this section, we started creating a front page for a newsletter. First, we set up a grid, created a box for a title, entered our title with the built-in text features of Professional Page, and modified the font, point size, and other attributes. We then set up columns, and after importing text created with the article editor, we used the Control key in conjunction with the Box Create tool to create boxes automatically that fit our columns. We then flowed our text into the first box and linked the two boxes together, causing the extra text to spill over into the second box. Finally, we used the automatic hyphenation feature to close up gaps. In the next section, we'll start working with graphics, another aspect of Professional Page. While there are many times that you might want nothing but text in your desktop publishing ventures, there are just as many times when you will want to include graphics as well. Graphics are an important part of almost every magazine, newspaper, brochure, catalog, or manual. Almost every piece of printed material incorporates some form of graphics. Graphics serve many functions on the printed page. First, they help to illustrate the concepts put forth in the text. A simple chart or diagram can make a complicated idea easier for the reader to understand. An illustration can add to the mood of a story. A photograph can tell a story all by itself. The second function of graphics is to break up a page, making it easier to read and more appealing to the eye. If a page is entirely filled with text, the big block of gray can discourage a reader. Graphics can divide the text into bite-sized pieces that are easier to read and more attractive. Like text, there are two ways that you can add graphics to your professional page documents. First, you can create graphics right on the page using the built-in drawing tools. Second, you can import graphics from a paint program, digitizer, scanner, or other graphics program. There are also two different types of graphics, structured and bitmapped, which we will discuss in a moment. Let's go back to our newsletter example and try adding a few graphics. As you can see, we have our title and two columns of text. It might be nice to separate the title a bit from the main body of the text. We could draw a box around it, or just draw a simple line underneath. At the bottom of our Tools column, we have the 6 different drawing tools available in Professional Page. If you have used a paint program, then you might already have a good idea of how they work, but we'll run through them quickly. The first tool we see is the Line tool. This lets us draw perfectly straight lines without a ruler. Simply click on the Line tool, move the pointer to where you want the line to start, and then, holding down the left mouse button, drag the pointer to the place you wish the line to end. You will see the line being drawn as you move the pointer, as if it were a rubber band. If you hold down the Alt key while drawing the line, it will always jump to the nearest 45-degree angle, making level and angled lines easy. When you release the mouse button, the line will be drawn. If we want to change the width of the line, or other drawing tools, we go to the Draw menu under Line Weight. The next tool is the Box Drawing tool. This works like the Line tool, except it creates either boxes or rectangles. Click on the tool, move the pointer to the spot where you want the first corner of the box. Drag the pointer away, and you'll see the box being drawn. If you hold down the Alt key while drawing, then the boxes you create will always be perfect squares. When you release the button, the box will be drawn on the page. Note that this box drawing tool is not the same thing as the box creation tools we have been talking about up until this point. This box is a graphic, not a positioning tool. Next, we have the Ellipse tool. This lets us create circles or ovals. Click on the tool, position the pointer on the page, hold down the left mouse button, and drag the pointer. Moving the pointer in different directions will change the size and shape of the ellipse. If you hold down the Alt key while drawing, your ellipses will always be nice, round circles. When you release the button, the shape will be drawn on the page. The next tool helps us drawing curves. It functions a little differently than the other drawing tools. Click on the tool and then draw a line the same way you did with the Line tool. Holding down the Alt key constrains the line to a 45-degree angle. This time, when you release the button, the line isn't drawn yet. As you move the pointer away from the line, you'll see that the end points of the line are held in place, but the center of the line will bulge out. When you get the curve the way you want, click and release the left mouse button, again to draw the curve on the page. Sometimes you don't want a nice straight line, perfect box, or exact curve. This is where the freehand drawing tool comes in. When you click on this, you can draw any shapes you like as long as you hold down the left mouse button. Holding down the Alt key while using the freehand tool will have no effect. As soon as you release the button, everything that you have drawn is placed in a box. The last drawing tool in Professional Page is the polygon tool. You could think of this tool as a connected line drawing tool. Position the pointer at the first location, click and release the mouse button. Now, when you move the pointer away, a line will follow the pointer. Every time you click the mouse button, the line will be tacked down at that point. Double-clicking on the last point will take you out of the polygon drawing mode. If you held down the Alt key before drawing the first point, whatever shape you draw will automatically be closed for you, as if Professional Page drew one extra line, connecting the last point to the first point. There are many ways to vary the way the drawing tools work, and you should check your manual for details. For now, all we're going to do is draw a few simple lines on our newsletter. First, a line under the title, then a line at the bottom of the page. As with text, graphic elements may be created in full color. Let's create a simple outlined rectangle. We click on the box tool and select the line weight and line color for our rectangle in the Draw menu. We can choose an existing color in the list or bring up the color requester. The color requester allows us to define our own color, either in terms of its RGB value or its process components: yellow, cyan, magenta, and black. Or we can specify a Pantone color. For now, let's select cyan from the list of colors. We repeat the process for the fill color, this time selecting blue. Finally, we draw our box. We've gone over a few of the things you can do with the built-in drawing tools. Now let's look at importing graphics from other sources. There are dozens of graphics programs available and thousands of ways that you can get graphics into the computer. Fortunately, there are a few standards for how those graphics are stored on disk. There are two forms of graphics that Professional Page understands: structured graphics and bitmap graphics. You can think of structured graphics as a set of instructions that describe how to draw something, while bitmap graphics are pictures that have already been created and stored as a whole. Each have their advantages and disadvantages. Structured graphics can be easily manipulated by the computer since they're stored as mathematical descriptions. The drawing tools that Professional Page offers are structured graphics. Change the values and you change the way the object is drawn. Bitmap graphics are composed of many discrete picture elements, or pixels, which get larger or smaller as a bitmapped image is scaled up or down. The larger the image is, the larger the dots, and the rougher the overall image appears. For this reason, it's often better to use high-resolution graphics for desktop publishing than low-resolution. For both kinds of graphics, you need an empty active box on your page. While you can't mix graphics and text in the same box, you really wouldn't want to. You can have boxes overlap, you can link boxes, and you can manipulate boxes in many versatile ways. The first step to importing graphics on a page is to create an empty box with the Box Creation tool. We won't worry about overlapping the text right now. We can fix that later. Now that we have an empty box, we can bring in a bitmap graphic by selecting Import Bitmap Graphic from the Project menu. You'll see a file requester box like the one used for importing text. For our newsletter, we'll bring in the graphic named newsletter1.pic. When we click on the OK box, Professional Page will get the graphic from disk and place it in the box. If we wanted to import a structured drawing, we would follow the same steps of creating an empty box first, and then selecting the Import Structured Drawing option from the Project menu. Structured graphics files imported from Professional Draw come in groups of individual clips. When you import a Professional Draw clip file, a requester will appear asking you which clip you want. If you click on the OK box, the structured graphic will be drawn inside the active box at a size and aspect ratio that neatly fill your empty box. In most cases, you will bring in graphics that are not exactly the same size as the box that you want to fill. Professional Page aligns the graphic to the top and left sides of the box. You can think of the graphic as pasted onto the page and the box as a window showing you the part of the graphic that is underneath. In order to move the graphic around in the box, simply move the pointer to the graphic box, press and hold down the Alt key, press and hold down the left mouse button, and drag the graphic around. When you let go of the mouse button, the graphic will be placed in position in the box. If you use the box resizing functions, you will see that the position of the graphic remains the same on the page while the box view changes. If you want to change the size of the graphic rather than the size of the box, you can do so by adjusting the graphic scale values found in the Alter Active Requester in the box menu. Or you can resize the box manually while holding down the Alt key. This will scale the graphic as well as the box. We're just about finished with our newsletter cover. We have our title, text, and a graphic on the page, but the graphic overlaps the text. We want to be able to see all the words, and there are a few ways to solve the problem. But the one you'll use the most often is called text runaround or wraparound. This means that the text will fill up the column width, but when it reaches the edge of the graphic box, the words will go around the box. To accomplish this, simply click on the graphic box to make it active, and go to the Alter Active option in the box menu. Once again, you'll see the active box requester. Select the impermeable box gadget. We can also put a border around the graphic to give us a little white space breathing room. When we click on the OK button at the bottom, you will see the text magically reflow itself around the graphic, leaving a nice little border of white. You can also use the same technique for creating sidebars, pull quotes, special headings, and other creative designs. In this section, we introduced the built-in drawing tools used for creating lines, boxes, circles, and other graphic elements. We discussed color selection and showed you how to import and manipulate structured and bitmap graphics. Finally, we talked about text runaround and finished the first page of our newsletter. We can't cover all the features of Professional Page here. Your manual can be an invaluable tool in discovering the many advanced features and creative options open to you. Features such as style tagging, paragraph tagging, and automatic page numbering will be of great benefit in creating longer documents. We encourage you to explore all the possibilities that Professional Page opens up to you. Gold Disk's commitment to excellence brings you an entire family of software products designed to work together. Each program represents the cutting edge in software technology, and each is designed to work seamlessly with the others. At Gold Disk, we recognize that as the scope and complexity of your printed material expands, you'll undoubtedly wish to expand your library of desktop publishing software. Look to Gold Disk to meet all your desktop publishing needs. Other desktop products include Professional Draw, a complete color illustration and graphic design package. Create colorful illustrations in Professional Draw and import them into Professional Page for extra graphic punch. Structured clip art, a wide variety of professionally drawn illustrations to highlight and add impact to your Professional Page documents. CompuGraphic fonts. High-quality AGFA CompuGraphic outline fonts that will expand your arsenal of available faces. CompuGraphic fonts will work with both PostScript and dot matrix output devices. Gold Disk Type. Additional CompuGraphic fonts with special appeal for designers, video producers, and artists. Professional page templates and design guide. Pre-formatted professional page layouts and design tips to allow you to deliver your message with grace and style. Professional Page is the ultimate in personal computer desktop publishing. It represents the complete typesetting package. Now you can take your projects through the entire production cycle, from initial concept to printed output, quickly and easily. So, what are you waiting for?